Good morning, retail traders. I'm going to bring you the indices this morning and tell you a little pullback that I called on the Tesla. And I think Etsy had good earnings, so that might be one to watch. They did lower the price target. Subscribe, ring that bell, and let's get it on. Sneaky Snake supplies the scan for you YouTubers during the day if you want to kick back and learn how to trade a little bit. But we're going to go right into the SPY. That go. eSPY. So we're pulling back right now. I think the market needs to digest what happened yesterday. A lot of fat cats were thinking we were going to be a little dovish coming out of the Chairman Powell, and it didn't look like that. Once he spoke, the market had a big dip. We had a big pop. I think there was like 1,000-point spread in the market yesterday, and we're just going to kind of look at this here stock. I was in it all day long. It just went sideways, and finally woke up from my nap, and it dipped down some. And I just decided to go ahead and hold on to it. And then a little bit later, we had that big pop on the 75 basis point rise. And then the Powell started speaking, and we just tanked after that. He had nothing good to say, in my opinion. I think expectations were a little let down on some of the forecasters that were talking about maybe this was going to be the last 75 point, but that's not the case. He's still very hawkish, and we're going to kind of look for a support level. I'm going to clean this up a little bit. I scalped it real good. I scalped it a couple times on the way up, and when it pulled back, I scalped it twice, and the last time I got stuck in it, took a $300 loss. So we're going to pull up the 20-day chart, see if that tells us anything, and it does. It always does. We did break a resistance level, a support level, which was right here at 375.25. So I'm going to raise that up just a notch to 376, and that's what we got to break today for it to be bullish. And that's going to be the SPY right there, 376. And if we pull back some, we could pull back to this other support level right here and maybe bounce off it at open at 372 if that holds. If that does not hold, then our third support is going to be this peak right in here at 370.32. I kind of like that number because if I pull up the yearly chart, it brings us back under that Darvis box that I've been talking about, and that was right here, right around the well, actually, it's the 375. Well, we'll go ahead and call that Darvis box support right there. I'm going to turn that into a red line. And I think that's at 372.20 something. 373. Brings to the 1 minute. 373.32. So we definitely dipped down below that. Now that's the bottom of that Darvis box. That really needs to maintain that support for us to keep inside of the box. If not, we'll go ahead and start dropping a little bit more. And I see reason that we can drop a little bit more. And that bottom line support is going to be that third one down here at the bottom. I'll put that up on the 20-day. That's going to be right at 370.32. Now, if we can't hold that today, we're definitely going to be in bearish territory, and that's what we're going to be dealing with for the next probably week or two. But to maintain where we need to be, it needs to be above that 373.22 area and then pop back up. We did hit the top of the Darvis box. If you go back to that yearly, and that was right here, and we called this out in the room right at 390.29, and we hit that yesterday, and then today I expected this, but I expected the pullback to hit the bottom of the Darvis box, If you go back to one of my videos, you can see that I did say that we were going to go sideways. So this could be a good stepping stone to run this back up a little bit, maybe to the pivot point in that box itself. I'm a technical trader, so I trade mostly on technical analysis at that 381.80, but I also try to be in the now, and I'm definitely in the now with the way Pow spoke. Wow. So we'll go over this one more time. The bottom of that Darvas box support is at 373.20, and if we can hold that and maintain that support level today, that'll be great. That means that we did hit the bottom and that we could retrace back up and find that pivot point inside of this here Darvas box, and then go sideways a little bit or even bounce up. But try not to be too bullish and wait until we get into next week. We do have some other numbers coming out today that might cause us to go sideways, and the market does need to digest what happened yesterday during the speech. So the only thing I heard this morning was the mentioning of Elizabeth Warren again, and I'm going, oh my God, not her, and capitalism and blah blah. So we're going to go to, and the resistance to break today will be at 381.80, which is the pivot point. So just be very cautious today. SPX, we definitely hit the bottom of that Darvas box on it too. That's right there at 37.61.70. They're still saying that the 35 support level I heard this morning is definitely, they're thinking, is the bottom of the market, right around 3,500 on the SPX. So it can definitely pull back if the tailwinds are heading that way. And that first support, if we do pull back, it will be right around the 37.23 area and off the 21 SMA. But to maintain us to stay bullish, we need to hold this 37.61.70 and then run it back up to the midpoint of this here Darvas box, which is right around the top of that first crow at 38.40.30. That's the SPX. Then we got the IWM. The IWM's had a great run. It definitely broke out of the Darvas box itself and ran all the way to the 200. So this was definitely accountable. It brings you back to the top of that Darvas box right in here. And if that holds support, that's great. If not, on the daily candlestick, on the daily chart frame, we could pull back to the 21 SMA, and that's right around 174.65, maybe a little bit lower. And that is the pivot point, a little bit higher, the pivot point, but it's pretty close to the pivot point inside of this box. And that's what I'm trading off of right now. We have our crows right here, the inside window in that Darvas box. So pay attention to 173, 174 for solid support. And if we maintain the top of the Darvas box here, we can run it back up a little bit and to the gap, and that's right around 180. I'm going to turn that into a red line so I'll remember it if we do start to move up. And then the QQQ has been the weakest of them all, of all four of them, and we're definitely back down here at the lower support. This thing can easily drop down to 262.21 and hold support there. If not, we'll definitely double bottom out at 254.26. Tesla, we were fairly bullish on Tesla, and then Pow spoke and it dropped down to this 215 that I called out in the room, and we actually hit my 214.72. So that was my support level. It'd be nice to maintain that, but if not, we can definitely pull back to that 204, 208 area, and that'll be your support channel. In the last video I did on Tesla, I said or at least I said if we broke below 200, it would be a strong buy, and it was. It went from that 198 all the way up to about 235. So I'm still bullish on Tesla, but you're going to hear a lot of rigmarole coming out of the Twitter deal. Fat cats do not like the fact that a billionaire decided to buy a company, especially a social media company, and that's all I heard this morning. Him and AOC got into a little free speech debate yesterday on Twitter. She said, well, it's funny that a billionaire would charge somebody for free speech. And Elon Musk says, that'll be $8, please. And she turns around and sells a shirt with a bunch of her junk free speech words on it, but she charges people for that. That's okay. So Tesla, let's see if we can maintain the 1472. If not, we'll drop down to 208 in that 204 support area and hold that, and then anything under $200 will be a very strong buy. Etsy came out with some good earnings. They downgraded the price pretty good. I like how they downgraded it. And they weren't shy about it. Darn, man. Downgraded the price. Let me see what they said. I think it was 121 from 168. And who in the heck knows D.A. Davison? I don't. But that to me sounds pretty logical. They had good sales, earnings, and they also put out a forecast with upbeat earnings. It is Christmas time. I started selling artwork when I first started painting on Etsy. And I took that down. I decided not to sell my artwork at all, just give it away. But it is a nice place to go to buy stuff. It's kind of like I don't know, dang, I can't spit it out. It's a place, it's a junction for an entrepreneur. That's what I'm thinking. If you like do jewelry or you want to sell things, artwork, I mean, it's a great place to put your stuff on. And this really had a nice run. If you look at the 3-year chart, when we were calling it out down here, right around $36.50, I was gung-ho about this stock, and it ran all the way up above to about 238, had a nice pullback to the 51 and 307. So we're definitely going to double bottom here. I got a 73.85 support level to take this trade off of, and then maybe run it back up. If not, she'll pull back to a lower support. But I'm gung-ho about the earnings. I think it'll be good. And that's it. Retail traders. Hope you all have a great day. Just be cautious today and let the market digest what happened yesterday. And come in next week with a bright and shiny smile on your face, and we'll try to run this market back up. Sneaky snake trading strategy.